Hey, it's me, twice in one day. So earlier I was on stream streaming some Fortnite, having some fun. Thanks again to my newfound friend Absorber Clan, who carried me to three victory royales. But now it's time to get back to work. Just about. I mean, I looked at the previous video that I streamed. Let's get rid of this, huh? Um, look back at the most recent stream of work that I did, and it was all the way back in August when I was trying to stream from my hospital bed unsuccessfully. It's crazy that it's been that long. Most of the holdup was just switch. So when I was in the hospital bed, part of the problem was not having a secondary monitor, not having the processor power to power the second monitor and stream at the same time. You really have to commit to a fairly robust studio to do this sort of thing, especially for art when you need that touch panel, you need the pen sensitivity and that sort of thing. And so it took me a while to find a secondary monitor that was you could touch. Again, I have to do away with my without my mouse for the most part and the keyboard because there's not enough room in the hospital bed. And now I'm working from my bed, my futon. So that the necessity transcends just when I'm inpatient. So you really have to, like I said, build up a robust studio. I tried like 2 or 3 different monitors, and they all had some the first two weren't plug and play, which is crazy for a monitor. So I assumed the first one was broken, and I sent that back, and the second one was also not plug and play. And so finally, I found a monitor that was plug and play, and touchscreen, and reasonably priced, and the right size. The one downfall is it doesn't maintain its brightness settings. So every time you turn it on, you have to reset the brightness, which is kind of annoying. And then the Surface I had, the Surface Pro 7 that I'm about to replace my 4, it was so glitchy and just in the weirdest way. Like you couldn't believe that Windows would be that broken. Perhaps it was, perhaps I got a bad tablet, but I sent that one back. And, that because it's a high priced item, they don't refund your money right away. And that's the only way I could afford it is if that money was refunded and I could swap it. They don't let you swap it out either. So that delayed everything by weeks and weeks and weeks. And then when I finally got the Surface Pro 7, configuring it to work the way I wanted was just a nightmare, as is a lot of the software I'm relying on. So I just got Topo Gun earlier in the month, and I fired it up and found out that you cannot use a tablet and pen with it. It only works with a mouse and a middle mouse button. This is a bit of a spoiler alert for a review I'm doing on the subject. That video is already finished and uploaded. I just have to release it to the public once I'm sure that my refund on the Topo Gun 2 software clears. And then Tablet Pro is likewise pretty much trash, and I'm using it here just barely, and that will feature in an upcoming review too. I'm going to do a unboxing. I have video from the unboxing of the Surface Pro 7 and do a review of this too. I've never been so disappointed in my hardware and software as I have been over the last 3 months, and so everything has just kind of been trash, and it's taken me this long to get back on track. And the other thing that took a while too was about this bedside laptop stand, but even at $77, it wasn't fully functional. I had to 3D print at least half a different elements for use with the cart. So drawers for my cell phone, drawers for some of my medication, kind of a shelf underneath for my Kindle, a pen stand, of course the obligatory 3D printed headphone hook and a day planner rack, I guess is the word you would use for it. And hopefully I can at least get some additional video content out of that. I'll do a video of all my functional 3D prints. I'm actually quite proud of this stuff because I designed it and printed it. I didn't just find it on Thingiverse. I custom made each element. All right, so originally I was going to sculpt the powder horn, which is basically where the samurai keeps his gunpowder for his flintlock pistol, which I've done. Oh, I should show you some of the, well, maybe I'll save that to the end. Let's see if I can. You know what? I'll save it till later. I'm going to show you some, because I have been working on this stuff off stream, and I'm quite proud of how it's come out. There's been a lot of mission creep, though, and that's kind of reflected in the hilt here. Now, what I'm trying to do with this is create a tiger, obviously. Well, maybe it's not too obvious. The problem is I want to make not just a tiger in relief, and I'm not familiar with carving relief, but I want to make the 17th century conception, Japanese conception of what a tiger looked like back then. There's a chapter in Moby Dick where the author explains that nobody really knows what a whale looks like at that time. They didn't have photography. If you killed a whale, half of it was submerged. To get it on deck, you had to chop it up into pieces. If it washed ashore on a beach, it would be bloated. And so nobody really knew what a whale looked like. Likewise, the people painting tigers and sculpting tigers in Japan in the 17th century, or wherever you want to place this, didn't necessarily have first-hand knowledge of what a tiger looked like. They had to rely on, second-hand artistry or narrations or written accounts of what a tiger looked like. And so there's a fine line here where you want it to be recognizable to people who have none of that backstory and should know enough to recognize that, but not know it regardless. You want those people to identify it as a tiger and maybe just mistake it for some sort of stylization. And then again, you want to tread that line where it does look like a Japanese misconception of what a tiger looks like. It's a hard target to hit, and I think the defining characteristic here in that misconception of what tigers look like is in the facial features. It really has kind of a cartoonish Cheshire cat grin like eyes, and so there's that. What I'm doing now is I'm trying, and this is, speaking of hard targets, this is all uncharted territory for me, relief stuff. So what I'm trying to do here is create a mask that it's going to allow me to, I'll demonstrate here. Why is that not demonstrating it? Okay, I forgot how to use ZBrush. I'm going to bring this out until it submerges into the hilt. And the problem is you don't want any super delicate overhanging stuff like you have here. And then the other issue is you don't want this just straight up projection like that. Or maybe you do. I don't know. But I imagine that I'm going to have to come in here and at least smooth this out and add some additional detail kind of behind everything. Again, this isn't going to be visible to the naked eye, but it should feature in, it's a hilt. It's going to be 3,000 miles away. But it will figure in, hopefully, some beauty renders and promotional materials and stuff. And so you see, it's kind of a guessing game as to like what you want to extend all the way into the hilt, where this edge is defined, because you have layering going on here. Like if you just draw a line straight through the middle, then there's entire tufts of hair that are behind there. I guess this is a long way of saying none of this is really going to be applicable to probably anybody else's work. It's not going to be relative or relevant. It's not going to be edifying in any sort of way, most likely, unless you're doing relief work. So, watch this at the risk of your own boredom, I guess is what I'm saying. But if you just want to, see how the sausage is made, the video game, start to finish, this will give you a pretty good idea. So to save time, this may be helpful. To save time, what I've done here is I took the mask of the Tiger Samurai and I just smushed it. And I was like, that's pretty much what relief is. It's a three-dimensional image, super smushed. And so I super smushed it. And now I just have to contend with extracting some meaty portion of it so that I can project it into the back of the hilt. All right. So part of the problem here is this is the wrong size, and so I'm kind of limited in the mouth size that I can. I wonder if back face masking is on. Why that isn't the default, I do not know. What was I saying? I have no idea. My sleep schedule from the illness it's so messed up. I'll be awake for like 48 hours and then sleep for 16. My diet is screwed up. My blood sugar is screwed up. Everything's a mess. And if I kind of ramble or seem incoherent, that's part of the problem. It's part of probably part of the reasoning there. All right, so the problem is back face masking is on, or off rather. So where do I find that again? Brush, auto masking. The color scheme for ZBrush is really weird in that so many elements share the same color code. And so if you want to color custom ZBrush like this, you pretty much have to do it at the expense of readability. And why is Alt not registering? It'll register with the pen, but not the touch. And I've run into this with Tablet Pro previously. I don't think it's maybe it's just dirty. Who knows what the cause was, but it infuriates me every single time I encounter it. So I'm going to try not to be too precious with this. And instead just work on it once the damage has been done. Alt, come back to me. Thanks. Come on, Alt. Be a pal. It occurs to me now, I believe I ordered special gloves to be able to manipulate. Why won't anything work? You know, this is what I complained about at the top of the video. For 3 months, I've just been wrestling with configuring hardware and software to work, and I'm all ready to work now, and it doesn't want to work. Can you hear that? That's how many times I had to tap Alt for it to kick in. I mean, and I gotta say, there's not many things that demoralize me these days. You know, what with the sickness. The changing of the wound dressings is especially disheartening, but I don't think anything compares to what I've been through. Cancer and GVHD do not compare with the computer wrestling I've had to do. I'd rather have leukemia again. That sounds like hyperbole. If I had to go through leukemia again to never have to computer wrestle, I would take that deal. I shit you not. I promise you. I would rather go through leukemia again. Not necessarily GVHD, but definitely leukemia. I would rather go through leukemia again if it meant never having to computer wrestle. And Tablet Pro in particular is especially shitty. You know, I swear more on stream than I do in real life. Or maybe it's Surface Pro, or maybe it's a combination of both. But they're shitty. They're shit. It's not doing what I want it to do. It's not. Its sole function is to be a button and to work as a button, and it does not work as a button. It is the definition of you have one job and you can't do that job. Now all of a sudden it seems to be working, and it makes all my belly aching seem pretty petty. And I spoke too soon. All right, and we can see In cleaning up the back, we screwed up the front. Said it once before, I'll say it again. Sometimes I feel like I'm the unwilling participant in some sort of weird social experiment, not unlike the Truman Show, where they just want to see how much I can put up with without cracking. Like, let's turn off his alt button so that he can't do any work. I mean, it's literally just one tiny thing preventing me from accomplishing what little I want to accomplish today. It's one button between me and completing my artwork here. It's so little and yet so significant. Trying to see if different fingers work. I mean, I have to literally hit the button 5 times before it works. So what does that mean in terms of reducing my efficiency? Did I solve this already in a previous video? If I did, I'm blaming the chemo drugs. I mean, I know I've encountered the problem, but did I solve it somehow? Is it a resolution issue? Let me look at Tablet Pro again. It's all a mystery. Everything in the second column is working. Alright, so what we want to do here, and the problem is we lose resolution each time we do this. What we want to do is merge these two. And then Dynamesh it. Oh, was it already on Dynamesh? I ate so much today and drank so much soda. I think it's just from stress. So I guess what I want to do here is smooth some of this out. And then add additional fur going backwards. This is pretty goddamn ugly. How far back can we go? What happened to the face is gone. All right, so it's a Dynamesh resolution issue. Let's dial it way higher. Oh, and Dynamesh isn't turned on, so there we go. Bear with me. It is in the process of Dynameshing. Oh, sorry. Absorber Clan, I miss you again. Again, I'm not too great with keeping up with the chat. Physical therapy was pretty decent. Just stuff I'm doing on my own right now. I have yet to make it back to the hospital to do that sort of thing. But yeah. So now I'm trying to put in a bit of work here. All right, so the Dynamesh has taken place, and the resolution is decent. Wait, you're supposed to be okay. And you can see there's a couple of holes and some weirdness going on back there. But I'm going to, again, the game plan is to smooth this out and then add a little bit more detail. I think I'm going to use trim dynamic. Oops. What the hell is going on with standard? Select this. Shift should be, all right, it should be smooth, but we'll go with that for now. This is eroding away a little too quick. It's also pretty sluggish. So let's turn off Dynamesh and rotate. I didn't know what this box meant previously. So basically, if you're so zoomed in on your model, you can't navigate without touching it. If you touch outside of that box, you can navigate again. I'm not sure if that's making any sense. So if I touch outside of the, not touching the model, I can rotate it. Now, if I zoom in and in that same place, I'm going to actually modify the model. But if you go outside that box, it's the same as not touching the model. I'm sure that's common knowledge for everybody else. It is something that I learned just recently after years of struggling with ZBrush here. All right, let's see if I can get rid. Nope, we did not reset shift to smooth. All right, there we go. Can we get rid of that artifacting? Pretty well. Now that we have Dynamesh off, all this stuff is working a little bit smoother, a little less laggy. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. This is not. This is a little atypical. I don't really do relief work. The Samurai Sculpt is pretty much my Magnus opus, and I really haven't showed off the process I've made since August, but I'm really quite proud of it, and I'll feature that in the next video. Let's try to build some. Do I have build up there? Clay tube's good enough. So I'm just kind of fleshing out the wall here so it's not so irregular. And I don't even know if I'm going to add additional detail behind there. Maybe a little bit. Basically, if I did, the idea would be that the relief is just falling off faster. Like steeper, it just gets steeper and steeper on the edge there. Yeah, by the way, I think in an upcoming video I'm going to sculpt a Hulk in kind of a Fortnite style and see if somebody can help me import that in-game. Because I know that some other people are able to import skins. And by skins I mean entirely new character models. Alt and Shift are now working. You know what it might be is if your hands are too clean, they might not conduct as well. I don't know. At some point, the pursuit of perfection here is going to be the enemy of progress. I'm going to have to move on from this fairly quickly. I mean, not only is this such a tiny detail, it's like the edge of a tiny detail that nobody's going to see. Nobody's going to see back here, really. And I'm kind of happy with the way this fall off is as it is. I'm not happy with what's happening in the teeth. He's developed a couple of cavities there. Which is going to require additional dynameshing. And we're going to go right to clay buildup for this. How do I go up? How do I... What the... No. How do I scroll up? Alright, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a bit of a break here, and I'll see you when I get back. Everything is so tiny on my touch screen here on the second monitor. Bear with me. All right. That was ridiculous. I'm back. I've got to find a way to just blow up the. We're in the wrong place here. What happened? Did I inadvertently delete something while I was. All right. How do we scroll up without a mouse? It does not swipe. Why doesn't it swipe? Oh, God. All right. Clay. I want clay buildup. Clay, it is then. Great. So where do we want to put this clay? In the teeth. Here. Do I have Alt enabled? Why is it Z subbing? I have RGB on, that's why. Guys, it's been a while since I've done this. I'm just going to make a mess of this and then resculpt it. I'm just going to try to get enough clay in there to get Dynamesh working again. You know, there's the artistic aspect and then there's the technical stuff you have to work out. Hi, Zachary. And hi, Absorber Clan. Yes, like and sub. I highly agree. Thank you. So we're going to Dynamesh this, and this will take about 5 minutes. YouTube had like some sort of site-wide problem earlier today. I don't know if it's been entirely resolved, but for 2 hours I was struggling trying to stream, and it would not work. And I thought the fault was on my end or my browser or something, but then it turned out there was a site-wide issue with YouTube, and I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, it's been cured. All right, so we're gonna have to get back in here. Dynamesh. For those of you new to ZBrush, basically takes all the weirdness and globs it together. So you saw there were holes there that weren't really filled in. And once I built up the clay is still kind of at odds with it, with the neighboring clay. And then when you Dynamesh it, everything just kind of melts together. And by melt is probably the best analogy because you can see some of the detail is lost a little bit. So we're going to try to rectify that now. And I'm just going to come in here and trim dynamic everything and just flatten everything out, hopefully. And is that working? Vaguely. I don't know why I just don't resize this so I can get. And now we're going to shift, and shift is no longer working again. And that's just going to kind of level everything out. It's going to average all the height out. And after all that's done, I'm going to have to just come back in here. You can see there's still some holes that Dynamesh didn't resolve. Whether I want to do a whole new Dynamesh and servers are down, yeah, it seemed like it was something of that sort. Whether or not, I don't think I want to re-Dynamesh this because then I'm going to lose, every time I seem to lose more and more detail. Why is this not working again? All right, before we go any further, I'm going to resize this so I can get a little more discrimination out of my brush size. So we're going to go to deformation, size, and we're just going to scale it up probably to about 200 or 300 times its original size, frame it, zoom in, and again, nothing's working. I am ready. I was not particularly born ready, but it's an attribute I'm cultivating. So hopefully, hopefully I will be ready. I hope to do like one gaming stream every 3 times a week, and game developments 3 times a week. All right, so if I recall correctly, I created these lips. They looked kind of square, kind of on purpose, stylized, using clay tubes, I think. And yeah, oh God, shift is now clay tubes. Smooth, turn shift off, go back to clay tubes. I want a longer lazy mouse here. And the other thing I did was to get it super smooth, I retopologized. However, you can't really do that in ZBrush 2021, as I explained in a different video I haven't uploaded yet, that I get a lot of weirdness with retopology in ZBrush, which was already weird to begin with. Why is it? Should be freehand, not dots. It is. Let's see if we can change the resolution. What is the resolution? Active points, 9 million. That might not be enough. Divide. 36 million, that might be too much. Yeah, 800 subs, none of them. I don't know if it's mean necessarily. A lot of those subs come by way of a video I did about how to sculpt folds and clothes. And that's super useful for a lot of people in the way that this is not necessary. Why is it not a solid line? This isn't necessarily super useful for everybody. I do wish I had more people viewing the live stream, but I think as I become more consistent with it, I'll develop hopefully a following. Especially upcoming, I intend to take my book and change it into like a free course on video game development. This is insane. Why is this? I've never encountered clay tubes doing this before. I wish there was a way I could be sure that I reset the brush to its original default settings, but I can't be sure. Is it the focal shift? Focal shift should probably be 0. Nope, that doesn't work. Yeah, the clothing folds video has something like 40,000 views. I wish I could think of something that would replicate that success, each and every time, but yeah, game development and game art. This is for a game, but it's kind of separate. I think the channel is basically game playing, game development, game art. Guys, I don't know what's going on here. There's nothing comparable I can use to substitute for clay tubes. It's not even square, it's round. So for the game development section, it's basically state machine technology using a Unity as the game engine, and then the state machine is Playmaker. State machines are basically a visual way of coding. Basically, if you can create a flow chart, you can create video games now. It's pretty simple. All right, we're gonna have to adapt and overcome. Alternately, what we can do here is, it just occurred to me, and that is not pretty. We can mask it and extrude it. So, yeah, I have a couple of videos on the Unity and state machine technology up already, but they're a bit dated. They're well behind the book and well behind where Unity and Playmaker are at. So I have to go through and update everything. All right, so what we're going to do here is change the lazy mouse radius. It's lazy step. Oh, that's why it wasn't working. Now it's okay. It's, I love the color scheme, but like I said, ZBrush is so weird. The color scheme is so weird that similar things have like the similar color code, and then you can't read, gray on black and stuff. Anyways, I should have been able to figure that out sooner. Oops. In trouble again. Uh-oh. Is it about making rice? Anyways, thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you again. I might stream Fortnite tomorrow. I'm definitely going to stream sculpting again, just because I have to get back to doing the work that I've been missing. Let's see, is this about the same width, or is it bigger? It's almost exactly the same, so that's good. Okay. You're not going to miss too much in this stream. I'm just trying to get back on track, get back to work. I don't know why it's getting this weird lumpiness at times. I can try retopologizing it to getting it smooth again. Like I said, retopology in ZBrush 2021 is super weird. You can try trim dynamic. I can go back, and it looks like I undid the subdivision. So maybe, not sure why undo is not working. Okay, we're skipping through time like that Futurama episode. Documents. Oh god. You know what? I might leave in 4 minutes. Things are going so bad. Thanks. Check back tomorrow. I'll show you the progress I made on the entire samurai sculpture. So it's a bit smoother. Obviously, I've got the wrong size going here. Oh, I undid the resize too, probably. All right. Hopefully, I'll get it together by tomorrow. Sometimes, I'm working on a Surface Pro 7. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I saw that game. That's another one that makes me want to get a PlayStation. It's exclusive, isn't it? Just like Spider-Man. Ooh, that looks much nicer. However, the wrong size. Now that I've tripled its size there. I think we could go up to 17. And 17 is way too big. And it's still getting weird artifacting, but nothing too bad. So we're going to go down to 14. And 14 is still too big. Yep, you're seeing how the sausage is made. It's not entirely pretty. It's just going back and forth. I mean, I don't really consider myself like a game artist, game artist, game artisan, whatever you want to call it. There's people who, just would intuitively know, oh, this brush has to be this size, and I can just, and it's done. And I know where the artifacting is coming from. Yeah, these bumps come out of nowhere. I think it's some sort of weird artifacting left over from, and alt is not disengaging, from the Dynamesh process. And I seem to have turned lazy mouse off. This is stuff that wouldn't affect, like, these are issues that a real artist wouldn't have, they would intuitively know what to do and what was wrong because they've worked with the software for so long. And once again, one is this row of buttons is not working. Ugh. I gotta get it together. Where's lazy mouse? Lazy mouse, lazy radius. Yeah, it is weird, these bumps. This is not something I'm super used to. Let's try trim dynamic. Trim dynamic does not have lazy mouse activated in any meaningful way here. Trim dynamic, when it's working right, kind of it plows everything down to one level. Polish might be even better here. Whoa. For one thing, it's got RGB on. I don't know why. Why would it do such a thing? Maybe you want H polish. There's two different types of polish. But what I did last time to get it perfect. Which stream? The Fortnite stream? I think it was 3 hours. Last time what I did was I just retopologized this certain section, made it a mesh, and sunk it in. And I suppose we can try to do that now. Rigging. Select mesh. This mesh. Topology. Edit topology. Zoom, 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 zoom. Continue to zoom. Move this over. We should probably go down and it's really struggling to do all this. Oh, we can't undivide it. All right, so we're just gonna start here then, I guess. So what I'm doing now, hopefully, is creating, oh my god. Huh, you can't move it around? Okay. You can't navigate in retopology the same way you do in the sculpting section. Anyway, so what I'm doing now is just creating polygons one at a time so that I get them exactly as smooth as I want them to be. And I'm not entirely sure how I'm supposed to be able to move this around, because that border trick is not working. trying to rotate. Yeah, I thought it would be fun to do a stream where it was all about getting the mythics. Yeah, hiding from people isn't a fun way to play the game. See what I mean by weirdness in topology mode? Like, it doesn't even navigate the same way the sculpting portion does. I am at a loss as to what to do here. Just an absolute loss. And as you'll see in an upcoming video, I tried to buy retopology software, TopOgun 2 in particular, and it does not work with just a stylus and a tablet. Yeah, we did. What did we miss? Did we get the She-Hulk mythic once? I think we missed out on Thor's. They have Thor's, and what have they cut? They've cut Groot's. They cut Black Panther's, which was absolutely useless. Yeah, if we had Iron Man and Doom and Wolverine, we'd be pretty much set. And now it seems like the first column of buttons wants to work. I don't know. Maybe, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to save this. I put Q's, I append Q's to a file name. Yeah, Thor and She-Hulk. Those come from the Quinjet. So what I'm doing is I'm saving the file here, and then I'm going to go back to an earlier file from the library when the head and the body were separate. What's going on? Did it ask me if I wanted to save? I don't want to. I just saved. All right, so it's getting kind of sluggish. Let's frame this up. This is back from earlier. When the head was a separate piece. Surface Pro could manipulate this a little easier. We'll be able to manipulate it easier in retopology. Well, it works if I distract them and you kill them. It's a strategy. I like to try to outflank them too, but as much as I like that, it doesn't always work. So we're going to select Z-sphere. We're going to go down to topology, no, rigging, select mesh, select mesh, select mesh, and slowly go over here. Nope. Why won't anything work? All right. Topology, edit topology, and now we can move it around a little easier. And what we're going to do is we're going to save this out as a separate file. As like a separate tool. import it to our latest version and Dynamesh it again. Yep, we're going to lose resolution again, but this is the only way I know how to overcome our current problems of all those weird bumpiness. And so forth. And again, it's not working. Yeah, like I said, I like that in theory. However, I do get killed doing that a lot. All right, so before we get any further in this, because it's not working out the way I wanted, rather than, no, I don't want to save, I want to load. All right, see you then. All right, so we're back here. The issue was this is too small. I can't really get too much discrimination in my brush size. So here we are starting retopology all over again. Rigging. Select mesh. Select mesh. Topology. Edit topology. Zoom in. You got to be careful with ZBrush here, because a lot of times it looks like it's connecting to a vert, and surprise, it is not. It's real finicky. Nope. And again, navigation does not function the same as it does with sculpting. So we have to zoom out, hit Alt 5,000 times, and reposition it as such. You know, You spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars, hundreds and hundreds of dollars on the software, on the hardware, and what's stopping me from being productive is that this first column here, I can't reliably touch it and have it do anything. And if you were to complain to Tablet Pro, they'd tell you it was a ZBrush issue. And if you complain to ZBrush, they'd tell you it was a Microsoft issue. And if you complain to Microsoft, they would tell you that it was a Tablet Pro issue. Look at all this work I'm doing just to be able to zoom in on this portion here. It shouldn't. How am I going to get anything done? How am I going to get anything done if it takes me 8 minutes just to zoom in on this stuff? You know, so it's not overstating. You know, you can look at it as, oh, it's you can't push the button, that's all. Well, that's how you create things, is by pushing buttons. That's how things get finished, is by pushing buttons. If you can't push buttons, it's not going to work. Nothing's going to work. Oh my God. You know what's going to happen too? As soon as I try to preview mesh this, everything's going to be flip normals. It's going to be normal, flip normals, normal, flip normals, normal, flip normals. It's going to be completely unusable. In fact, before we get too far, let's see how the adaptive skin is working out. Let's preview it. Let's preview it without Dynamesh. So far, so good. I remain pessimistic, though. Rather than doing all the sides, I wonder if I could simply extrude all that. Let's save it and see. We're just going to call this Tiger Redux Lips Redux Redo. And it's gone, and that used to freak me out. But you can just press edit topology and it'll come back. And then disappear again once it's no longer framed. I'm not going to even bother to frame it. We're just going to go right to adaptive skin, preview, make adaptive skin. And now, moment of truth. Can we just, for the love of God, extrude this? Wait, that's not with deformation, is it? Subtool. Geometry. I think it's in here somewhere. Subtool. Project. Right? No. Extract. I think you gotta always at okay. Do I have to mask it first? Is that what it's telling me? Let's zoom out. Control, lasso, mask this thing, extract, extract. I'm gonna accept that because it kind of does what we want it to do. It's gonna project all the way into the mesh. So what the heck? It's good enough. Oh, is it still? Okay, it could just be the problem is I'm a vampire and don't have. Okay, that's not working. Conductivity. What happened? All right. I don't. How do I get rid of this? Hey, Observer Clan. Good to have you back. So what I did was I went back to a previous save, did some retopology, some extraction, and now I'm trying to get it back into... Oh, here's the hilt of the sword. I tried to put a lot of detail into this, so you can see like the individual threads and stuff. Anyways, so I don't know the retopology. Oh, here it is. No, it does not. This one doesn't. Oh, it does have the head. All right. Thankfully, I've been able to find the sculpture I've been working on all this time. Let's see. Let's go down a subdivision so it's easier to manipulate. All right. So if my calculations are correct, and these were both imported at the same size or created at the same size, then I should be able to merge them seamlessly. In theory, I should get rid of some of these subtools so I can find what I need easier. Oh my god. Just, come on. So, subtool, append, extract. Let's zoom in. And it's still kind of floating out there in air. Not sure why. Oh, because it extracted from the bottom forward rather than from the forward back. And why is the gizmo not? Okay. Okay. Why will it not home? There, okay. So home isn't home. Location is home. So now what we have to do, and I'm not going to do this tonight, is basically... Oh, no worries. Level that portion there. I may redo it. This is more proof of concept more than anything else. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's see what it looks like if we bulldoze this whole thing here. I'm hitting one, and one is responding, but I don't see... Oh, because shift is... So, I've kind of figured out what's going on with the first column of buttons here. And my assumption, I think, is proving right. It doesn't really know where it is properly. The whole first half of the buttons seem to be just dead space. So if you want to activate them, you have to push the button right near the center line there. Not the center line of the button, but the center line of the buttons, plural. Which is not satisfactory. Alright, so what did we do today? We managed to meld the head with the body, and we tentatively put in some lips, which we may or may not use going forward. This is about as disappointing 3-hour session. No, it's probably not 3 hours. What time did I start? 2 maybe? For 2 hours, this is just... It's sad that that's all we got accomplished. I say we. It's all on me, obviously. What's weird, though, is that maybe my assessment is wrong. Because you can touch it anywhere with the pen and it will react. So, I don't know. This is too thin, I think. Let's see what happens if we inflate it a little bit. It gets very weird. But that's not bad. If we go in there, if we're able to, let's say, H-polish it and or trim dynamics so that some of the weirdness there is eradicated. Well, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not truly familiar with the Like, is that in creative mode? The other thing, this should have gone all the way to the tooth there, or all the hook up all the way with that lip, and I don't want to redo the whole thing. So let's just try to stretch it out there. Okay. I'm embarrassed by how little I got done today. Somebody disliked the video? For real? I gotta see. For real? I gotta see. Well, don't tell anybody. I'm gonna give it a like just to change the ratio there. Um, I don't blame them entirely. Not much going on in this stream. Nothing that would really anybody could like benefit from in terms of learning. So, to each their own, I suppose. All right, so we're going to merge these together. We're going to dynamesh it. We're going to wait for 3 minutes as it processes the dynameshing. Thank you, I appreciate that. It gets better. It will get better. I promise to get better. The art will improve. The art instruction will improve. I think tonight I'm going to sign off at 4:30. Oh, I appreciate that, Absorber Clan. But, like I said, it's just going to be about 6 more minutes. I'm a little disappointed in how laggy ZBrush is being, and just in my own ability to get this stuff right the first time through. But like I said, it's a learning experience, and everything is going to improve from here on out. Not sure why the standard brush is all weird like that. I don't know what I did to it. Maybe I can get Damien standard going. Alright, so how did this go? There was a tooth going up this way. Why? For me, it's 4:30 a.m. Pretty early or late, depending on how you look at it. You're probably Pacific time. Damn standard is not going to cut it. Clay tubes would even be better. I can use clay tubes, not that large. I can use clay tubes and then just kind of smooth it out. Not that small. Maybe I can't use clay tubes. What does this look like? That's not enough polygons to work with. We're gonna have to move up again. Wait, so where are you? That it's still 11 p.m. Oh, nice. I had a friend who was in the military who was in Hawaii. So I'm just kind of roughing this out for now. Yeah, I'm starting to fade. I mean, I'm pretty much a night owl to begin with, but I used to work the night shift at a place called Jim's Stakeout in Buffalo, which came with hazard pay. And then I worked overseas. So during when it was day over there, it was night here. So it was very similar for like my natural biorhythms. Once I hit the smooth brush here, uh, it'll look more tooth-like. I think for tonight I'm just gonna rough them in. Yeah, I worked in Korea for a little while and Kuwait. Not a little while. I worked in Korea for many years and Kuwait for a little while. Let's see what this looks like if I do activate the shift button. Off screen, I'm going to figure out how to get the standard brush back to looking like a standard brush. I kind of clipped into the lip there at some point. And then this will all start to come together. All right. Again, not super happy by how little I accomplished in 2 hours here, but it is what it is, as they say. Um, wait. Give me a minute here. I'm going to try to find the video of the samurai before we go. I'm going to turn off. I don't want any spoilers, so I'm going to turn that off for a moment until I find the actual photograph. And then I'm going to call it a night. But I very much appreciate you sticking with me to the end. All right, so here it is. Here is the sculpture of the samurai I've been doing so far. Months and months I've been putting work into this. So it's finally coming to fruition. There's been a lot of mission creep. I've been doing a lot of weird, real detailed stuff like the hilt that you'd never see, and a lot of ornamentation on the gun that it's not featured there yet, but is going to be added in. And so, yeah, I'm pretty proud of this. And for the face, I'm going to do photogrammetry. I think of my own face and stick it in there, and then the mask needs ropes. The hat needs ropes. The socks here. Thanks. Yeah, again, that game is pretty inspirational. They got a lot of things right in it. Some ropes on the feet. Typically, they have ropes going through the toe and then around. And then additional ropes to hang the powder horn. I got to do the powder horn. That shouldn't take too long. And for the gun. So basically, from here on out, it's ropes. And then I do the retopology so that it's low poly enough to work in game. After that, the skinning and the texturing. And I don't really have a good grasp of what I'm going to do in terms of the color scheme here yet. I'm colorblind for one thing. And I want it to be tiger themed, but a lot of times, like the yellow and black, it's kind of garish. It just looks too clashing. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do color-wise, and I'm very much open to suggestions. But yeah, so that's where. Who is Corey X Kenshin? I am not familiar with him. Is he a developer or a Fortnite streamer? I thought I was going to be done with this in May. Like in my day planner, I have it all set up do this, do that part, do this part. This will be finished by then. Yada yada yada. I thought it was going to be done in May. Surprise! It's end of the year, and this still isn't finished up yet. So, um, yeah, I really I got to start putting in like 6 and 8 hours a day, just as if it were a job. Gotcha. I'll look them up. All right. That's it for tonight. I am completely emotionally exhausted just by the fact that I can't access these buttons with any consistency. Gotcha, Shogun. I'm developing like a backstory with this too, like a tiny novel to go with it that will feature in the cutscenes. So look for that too. All right. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thank you for being a very nice guy. I appreciate it. And thanks for sticking with me to the end. And hopefully we'll get in a couple of games of Fortnite later this week. All right. Thanks again. I'm